Court order. Mr. Emerson.
All right, everybody.
In the past, awful talking, anybody taking pictures or recording anything in this courtroom will be taken into custody for contempt of court violation of the court order. Mr. Emerson, this is on for settlement conference. You mentioned something about some other case in the Supreme Court that might be where you don't want to go forward or something.
Yes, sir. I'd like to put on the record that there is a,
Yeah, sorry, Joe Emerson, case number 24 CF 12865. He's present, representing himself, Mr. Balboni, for the people.
yes, I am here as Nihooka, diyiin man, Todichiinii diyiin, and I am here as a living
I don't
man.
know if you spelled it the last time. Can you spell those words for me again?
Yes,
All the words that you were speaking.
yateeh is greetings to the court, yateeh, and I am Nihooka, spelled N-I, lowercase I, capital letter N, lowercase e. I am here to present the order of writ of mandate, and I have given notice to the agents and notice to the principals that there is a special private priority case number at the Supreme Court in San Francisco. The number is BK4WJ2RX. And it is in this matter, in this case, called the people of the state of California versus Joe Emerson and all the aliases. And so also, I took it also into the federal court, Sacramento. And the Attorney General for California State and the state of California, Rob Bonta, has been served, and also the clerk of the Superior Court here. And we have a conflict of interest that living cannot commingle here in the entity court system. And so I have moved to court and requested to dismiss that jurisdiction through Judge Linville, who has since recused. And I am still here as a non-trustee, a sovereign man, and I give notice that for this cause and exception that it be a matter of special private priority interest, document is prepared for document. This is what is filed in the Supreme Court. And it is a notice for Mount Shasta Police Department, Mount Shasta Board of Supervisors, the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Department, Siskiyou County Jail, the County of Siskiyou, the people of the state of California, Superior Court of Siskiyou County, the state judicial court system in partnership with the United States and Federal Corporation, and the United States. Status active response. Non-trustee Nihooka has inspected your document titled subpoena and hereby orders the writ of mandate based on a merit of non-acceptance of an involuntary trusteeship. The Mount Shasta Police Department's request to solicit services upon via an act of unwanted performance in an attempt to validate and express consent on this matter of involuntary suretyship, trusteeship via subpoena for adjudication, an ill-fated attempt to cause an irreparable breach in trust. Solicitation served at a private local on 10/24 to present to non-trustee is declined. There are no trustees at this locale. Case and points to make claim are moved. Statements presented in a general jurisdiction municipality are without recourse or remedy. The subpoena is returned without consideration in good faith. All inherent rights reserved with prejudice without recourse. That this city defined what is a city when using the title Mount Shasta City of, that this city defines what is a state and defined what is state of California, and that this city defined body polity, person, and individual in use of a summons. I have no challenge for the record, as I am a sovereign Todichiinii man, under the great law of peace and under the Clanmothers authority, pursuant to the 2 Wampum Treaty, and according to the laws of equity, The state was supposed to protect the living man, woman, and children of this country. According to your laws, you deem the people disabled by legal claim, making all men and women disabled, whereby without recourse and with the right to remain silent on all matters, you probate of your estate for your enjoyment, excluding the living man or woman. However, it shall be without my signature nor my consent of owning. Those in receivership at this locale are men and women of the preamble status quo antebellum in law of survivorship. Live, there are no persons in care local as defined by the bar. To entertain this matter would be in violation of the Copyright Act and the Crown Copyright Act US model. Whereas per the Crown Copyright in the Information Age US model, excerpt states 1.18 section 105 of the US Copyright Act provides that copyright protection is not available for any work of the United States government. Court judgments are also in the public domain. However, American states and local government are left to decide whether their own works will have copyright protection, and these are actively protected. Whereas per the Copyright Act of the United States, copyright protection exists from the moment a work is created in a fixed tangible form of expression. The copyright immediately becomes the property of the author who created the work. Only the author or those deriving their rights through the author can rightfully claim copyright. In the case of works made for hire, the employer, not the writer, is considered the author. Under the first sale doctrine, section 109 of the Copyright Act, ownership of a physical copy of a copyrighted protected work permits lending, reselling, disposing, etc. of the item. However, it does not permit reproducing the material publicly, displaying or performing it, or engaging in any of the acts reserved for the copyright holder. Why? Because the transfer of the physical copy does not transfer the copyright holder's rights to the work, even including an attribution on a copyright. For example, putting author's name on it does not eliminate the need to obtain the copyright holder's consent. To use copyrighted materials lawfully, you must secure permission from the applicable copyright holders or a copyright licensing agent. Now, whereas the entities described above, in fact, may not commingle with the natural private man and woman residing inland, for our not being like in kind, they are corporation, and we are the living. And they may not give orders to the living, for they too would be in violation of the highest order in maxims of law. The created cannot be greater than the creator. And the copyright, if they do not have permission by the author, every other statement regarding this matter is presumed irrelevant, and opinion as entities may not require one to act or perform for their own benefit. When it is not a matter of law, nor lay claim to a man or woman to acquire an express contract. The acquiring of the physical body is indeed human trafficking. Enslavement and harboring of captives by the city, county, and state as a body corporate is the acquiring of the living body of man for payment. The taking of data for personal use without one's consent, or trespassing with solicitation, is also asserted by the Department of Justice as identity theft. Maxims of law and equity. What is mine cannot be taken away without my consent. Equity will not aid a volunteer. Equity will not perfect an imperfect gift. Possessor has right against all men, but him who has the very right. Under the 12 presumptions of law by a bar, B-A-R, guiled member of society, I, non-trustee, rebut all presumptions of guardianship, ownership, as custodian, volunteer, suretyship, claims of probating man, woman, as a corpus decident, bonded, insured, a debtor, a person that the representatives, lawyers, are public servants acting on behalf of entities of the same district, city, county, or state, as one who swears oath, unless presented certified. The summoning of I in court as a trustee, the presumption that as executor and beneficiary, acting of agents and agencies with authority by claiming I understand the presumption of guilt, the presumption that I am incompetent, or any other form of presumption. The applicant asserts a right of some significant substance as opposed to a claim for relief based on an injury to mere emotional or dignitary interest. Unless rebutted under oath, you swear before I am orally and in writing. My claim is my word, and I now stand silent.
Okay, thank you. This time I'm going to confirm the jury trial for January 6, 2025, 8:30 in the morning. Mr. Emerson, you're ordered to be back in this court on that date and time. Any trial documents you wish to file need to be filed and served no later than December 23rd, 2024. Thank you.
For the record, that special priority.
Hold on. Mr. Emerson, we're concluded for your information, if you receive an order from your federal court or Supreme Court that stays these proceedings, make sure that it gets filed with this court. Otherwise, we just keep going forward.
Yeah, there's a restraining order out right now on the court, so we're not.
I haven't seen it. It's not in the court's file. Anything like that would get filed here with your will know about.
Okay.
And we'll deal with it. But until there's a stay from a federal court or a state Supreme Court, your matter continues to go forward. That's all.
Okay, and so I had an issue with the Supreme Court. They had a problem filing this since December the 2nd, so we're still carrying on here, so I had to clear that up.
If you got an issue with the Supreme Court, you talk to them. You got an issue with federal court, you talk to them. If we get a stay from either one of those courts, we're going to stay the proceedings. We'll follow a court order. But until that time, we're upholding your right to a speedy trial. So confirming the trial on the 6th of January, make sure any documents are filed by December 23rd. Thank you.
Right. And the court is at BK4WJ2RX. That is the special priority case number in the Supreme Court of San Francisco.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Aronson, Godfrey, off the record. Godfrey?
Yeah.
What are we doing on Godfrey? Okay.
Oh. Take care.
Hoka, hey, everybody. Okay. So that was the last time I went to the court. I read that writ of mandate to cease and desist the court case against Joe Emerson and 7 aliases. And I don't go to the court no more, and I filed the stay order, writ order in federal court to stop this case in violation of the Convention 1868, international treaty law, U.S. treaty law, and our treaty law. The Turo Wampum Treaty Belt is in my possession. It's right there. It's right there. See my grandfather right there. Hastoi, achaah, also known as Manuelito. Might make some of your toes cringe, especially you Todichiinis and the ones who traded with and went along with the cavalry. You know who we are. We are still here. Underneath our feet, right there, we stand on the Turo Wampum Treaty Belt. We stand on that Turo Wampum, yateeh. There's 2 rows on that wampum belt. And Hastoi right there. we stand on our line as a supreme authority here on Turtle Island. Laah, who made that? Well, long time ago, Iroquois were instructed this way, back when they had a connection with their Sakaiwatiso, diyiin. Today, they don't have that. And I have their Turo Wampum belt, and I brought it back to diih, Bikea, and over here out to the West Coast, and trying to teach all of you about how the United States came to be and how that belt is here alive on the West Coast, causing a lot of fires and causing a lot of floods. So the Turo Wampum Treaty Belt was made in 1612. These judges that are trying to preside over this case don't even know what the Turo Wampum Belt is. And so a lot of people in the West, we don't have this knowledge. And so I hope you will research it more for yourself. Turo Wampum Treaty Belt, 1612. That's when there was a treaty made with the Dutch, British, and the Romans, and they agreed to be slaves here on this land. And that's how you got 13 original slave colonies and the Bill of Rights, and then Articles of Confederation. Then later on, 1700s, then you got this Washington and Congress and DC and they got this other thing called Constitution. But that Constitution comes from this 1612 Bill of Rights foundation. So you guys need to educate yourself about that, and also educate yourself about what I'm sharing with you about this judge trying to prosecute a trustee, a social security number. And so when they do that, there's this one, you can look it up, all of you, right here on your Google. You can write it out, title, title, and then number 28, and then subsection 607. In there, it defines what fraud upon the court means. Fraud upon the court means that when there is a state corporation, like the people of the state of California, Duns and Bradstreet, and they try to prosecute a living man, Nene, but they want to prosecute a social security number, Joe Emerson, and they put 7 aliases on it for $50,000. So they're trying to get some money out of a dead entity, some name, and it has an account to it. There's an account numbers on the front, and there's some account numbers on the back of the social security card. There's a red letter and some numbers back there. Auto Tris Cuss-Up number. Well, they can't use me to play this game, so I took it away from them a long time ago. Back at 2012, I've been owning this whole account, and they've been trying to get it back. So sometimes you guys can go back into my YouTubes and check out some of my victories and some of my court cases. And I haven't lost one yet. I'm still Nene, grandson of that man right there in front of you. And my masani, son, Nazil, yeah, from Pinyon, Arizona. Todichiinii, Shle, Bitani Bashichin, Kazasan, the Nadashiche, Slisni, the Nadashinale. Todichiinii, Arosh Dohedo Lech, that's a Nishan has Twi Sanita. Todichiinii, Ladni, Shlena. Oh. Iigiih, Todichiinii, Tonanchke, Kokohane, Nihooka, Nihooka, Sonada Dolson, Danada Osne, Yego, Hanata Inosne. So it is in laah large. Nihit nit eba hastanekre aro yego tradatin batsutatolsen nihatsos haadziih. So I'm fighting this court case on, and the title 28-607, it says fraud upon the court is when a state corporation, like the people of the state of California versus Joe Emerson, when that happens, that you can't have a state corporation and the judge presiding in its own action. They can't be a party to it and in action in the same case that they are bringing the action in. You can't be the judge and also the state. They're both entities working for California State and Rob Bonta, the Attorney General, Gavin Newsom, the governor. So this happened to me in New York. This happened to me in New Mexico, Arizona, Navajo Nation, Hopi Nation, South Dakota, Lakota Sioux Nation, Pine Ridge. This happened to me, Ohio. This happened to me, Salina, Kansas. This happened to me in Texas, Oregon. A lot of times I've been set up. A lot of times they try to get the account back and force me to be Joe Emerson, social security number, a slave surveillance number. I can't ever be that. I'm a Todichiinii. I was that long before the government ever got here and that flag ever got here. Think of that. Quit pricking your children's feet. Over here in San Francisco, California, I came out here to visit J. Tony Serra. They acclaim him to be the top criminal defense lawyer of this century. When I went to visit him, one of his young warriors there in his office who work in policy change out here in California did catch me up that 4 years ago, almost 5 now, that he had a child. I asked him, did you prick your child's foot? He said, hell no. No, I helped to work on the policy, the regulations. I only had to put ink on the baby's foot and on the handprint. I don't have to prick the baby's foot and squeeze blood out onto a birth certificate. I said, congratulations. Please tell that to my people. They can't hear me too good. But yoiditsaah. They continue to prick their children's foot. Ask Boo Nygren, doctor agent, and his BAR agent wife, Jasmine Blackwater Nygren, if they pricked their newborn child's foot. Out here in California now, there is policy and law change that it is called witchcraft. Witchcraft is yaah, Todichiinii, away. Haadziih intiih. Todichiinii away anibit is chinko. Haadziih yaah bitisnan sas. And then you make an account out of that drop of blood into a iigiih, entity, wanagi, ghost, fiction, has a social security number, slave surveillance number. But in this time and age, you should have think before your pleasures, how to feed the child. Do you know how to grow potatoes? Naataah, shaa. Where did you make a piece for this child to live at? Haadziih bikeya, haadziih bitseek. Fortunately for myself, I have a father, grandson of Hastoi, and he broke the cycle. For me to be here. It is very serious, this law called shaa and the great law of peace. The man before you knew these agreements to naahaataah, to the earth, to the sky, the air, the water, to the Clanmothers and their authority. He knows there's rules to go home to the sky. Yateeh. So these are some things that I am sharing with you pursuant to the great law, pursuant to the Two-Row Wampum Treaty Belt, which is carved in stone, also on the Rosetta Stone, held at the British Museum from general public eyes. Sabik as chingot, say it the dobik as short. Todichiinii. Article 6, Section 2, treaties are the supreme law of the land, the supremacy clause, will ya? And the treaty that I'm citing is the Two-Row Wampum Treaty Belt. With that, I close the yaah and listen to the audio again of the transcript and how it's read into the record. Bidahos, learn it. It might save you from being in a jail cell and away from your family and your people and your children. Yeah, take care of one another. Hakona.